Hey everybody, Derek here to bring you another video for The Walking Dead Season 6. I'm back at school, and I'm finally able to shoot videos at my own convenience again. So I thought I'd start out with a big one that really leads off from where we left off on The Walking Dead start to finish, Episode 8, which is, does the Alpha Wolf have a plan? You know, we last saw the Alpha Wolf imprisoned by Morgan, and, circumstances have changed a little bit. So we really have to wonder, does he have some kind of a plan, or is he just trying to get away? And I'm going to analyze some different possibilities and let you know what I think might happen. If you are not caught up with The Walking Dead and you do not want to be spoiled, then exit the video now and come back later, because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay. So, to recap, when we last left, Morgan had imprisoned the wolf inside of that cell that Alexandria had, and Carol found out about it, and of course Carol, seeing that the Alpha Wolf is a threat, wanted to kill him. But Morgan, seeing that all life is precious with Aikido, tells her no, that she's not going to do that. The two physically fight. Morgan knocks Carol out, and in the melee, the wolf knocks out Morgan. Now, of course, Denise is in the room while this is all happening, and the Alpha Wolf cuts himself loose and ends up taking Denise hostage. And, of course, Tara, Rosita, and Eugene come into the room, and he makes them put down their weapons, so he gets a gun and leads Denise outside, into the Walker herd, if you will. We don't get to see exactly what they step into, but we know that outside of the house is a Walker herd. The Walkers did invade Alexandria, so that's something that is going on right now. And it really makes me wonder, what's going to happen to the wolf. Because there's a lot of different possibilities that may happen with the wolf. And part of me, was looking back at the wolves as a group and kind of figuring out if maybe there is something more going on here than meets the eye, if you will. Because when we look back and we learn about who the wolves are, we know that they're a savage group. They've really regressed back to savage ways, if you will. They scavenge areas, they kill people, they loot communities, or they just take whatever people have on them if they're just individuals or small groups. And then they collect these people as walkers and then later use them as bait. And it's something that they continue to do, throughout the entire time they've been on the show. And since the zombie apocalypse has started, if you will. These people have gone so far as to butcher many different individuals in Alexandria and at Shireworld Estates. And you see that, it almost seems, in a sense, almost like a cult, if you will. They really do act as a unit, and they act on this premise. And we see a lot of different things that they talk about. Some of the quotes that they used when they were in Alexandria. One of them said, "We're freeing you. You're trapped. You need to know people don't belong here anymore." That wolf that was tied up by Morgan and Gabriel said that to them. And I think that a lot of what the wolves are doing is, they're individuals who have, in a sense, reverted back to the older times when things were not civilized. And I think that they really emphasize on the destruction of civilization, that they really see that the outside, world, in a sense, this entire civilized world that we know has died. And people should not be living it like that anymore. That's what I think a lot of their belief is, in a sense, is they want to see the destruction of any civilization that was left, because that's just not the world anymore. The world can go through different changes, and I think that they feel that the world has gone through the ultimate change of not pushing forward anymore, but in a sense almost regressing, back to days of no civilization, where different groups of individuals would kill each other and take whatever they, wanted. There was no sense of community. There were just small groups. That's really what I think that they see, and it's something that they act on. But also, you kind of see that, maybe they do believe that, the world is ending, and maybe that's just their way of helping it die, in a sense. Because if you remember back in episode 8, start to finish, the wolf was talking to Denise, and he said, "I've done my part. The world will take care of the rest. It won't change." And in a sense, it almost kind of reminds you of like an end of the world kind of thing. If this group of people got together and, made up this plan to, end the world, if you will, it kind of reminds you of that, line of thinking that the wolves have, that really they see themselves almost as, a part of the destruction of civilization, kind of like a key role in it, if you will. Like if we were writing the history books post zombie apocalypse, and you kind of wanted to see like what happened near the very end. Granted, nobody would be there, but they would be, bringing about a big part of the ending. So that's really what they're about, is just complete destruction, and then utilizing whatever is left for themselves to continue to destroy. Now, of course, the Alpha Wolf has stuck to this idea. Morgan having him imprisoned was basically, in a sense, to try to convert him back to, a quote unquote normal, humane, peaceful way of living, kind of like how Eastman helped Morgan, if you will. And that's what Morgan was trying to do, but we saw that the wolf was resisting those, words, was resisting those lessons, and just said, "Well, Morgan, I respect you for, who you are, and I respect what you're trying to do here, but just so you know, this is my plan. If I get loose, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill every man, woman, and child that I see in here, because that's who I am. That is my code." And, I don't think that he's set to abandon that anytime soon. So when he breaks out of, his imprisonment and takes Denise with him, part of me wonders if he's just going about his plan like he always has been. Like the wolves as a group are continuing to, move from community to community, and maybe he's going to finish the job. That's a very big possibility that I see happening here. Because he doesn't really know what happened to his group members, because he was captured. So he doesn't know if they're all dead or if some of them got away. Plus, we don't know if there are any left that were not at Alexandria, because any of them that were at Alexandria are dead now, to our knowledge. We don't know of any others that got away, because those 5 that Morgan let go, Rick killed them. So we don't know if there are more wolves out there or not, but I think that there is a possibility that either A, there are, or B, that the wolf has means to continue the destruction of Alexandria. So I think that there's a couple of different ideas and thoughts that the wolf may be doing. One is, that he's going to take Denise with him back to the, the Del Arno food trucks compound where we saw in Conquer all those walkers were at. So one possibility is that he intends to take her back there, with the intention of, doing whatever he does. We've seen that the wolves try to capture people. We saw them, taking people in chains. Carol chained Morgan, and the wolves went by and went, "Good catch," And part of me wonders, is that for them to, have some fun? Like, are they, going to butcher that person, take enjoyment out of killing that person? Or are they converting people? Are they, in addition to kind of like how the Terminus people, if they saw you as a strong person, they said, hey, you can either join us and eat other people or we can eat you. That was proven in an interview that Terminus, the hunters, the cannibals, they did bring people into their group. So maybe the wolves are doing the same thing. That, or maybe they are kept imprisoned so that way when they need to corral the walkers back, that's how they do it. Because we saw in the food trucks they had walkers that were chained, inside the trucks and suspended. So part of me wonders if those were people that they would chain up there, and then when they were done with the walkers and they wanted to bring them back, that's how maybe they did it. Possibly, or it's how they attracted more walkers towards them. So lots of different possibilities there for why they capture people, but it may be that that's exactly what the wolf intends to do with Denise, is take her back to the food place. But maybe along the way, Denise is going to somehow get away, or at least wound the wolf. Maybe she might take advantage of the fact that he has a wound. She might dig her, finger into it to cause him pain and then try to get away. Because they might go out into the woods. I mean, it's very possible for them to make it through the walker herd. The walkers are not that fast. So if you just find the right path and you zigzag your way out of there, it is possible to escape. So I would not be surprised if the wolf actually tries to get away and then the two of them are in the woods, making their way through, and Denise is trying to find a way to get away, and she may. She may find a way to escape and go back to, Morgan and Carol. Because I think that's something that's going to possibly happen in the episode, is that if that plan works, and say the wolf is able to get out of the community, he finds that break in the wall when the tower fell down and he gets through, that maybe Carol and Morgan are going to give chase. And I think that's a very good possibility, is that this may continue the Carol-Morgan debate over, do we kill this guy or do we bring him back in prison? The two of them may fight over that, and it may result in one of two things happening. Either Carol will kill him and Morgan's going to get mad, or the wolf will die in some other circumstances. Because I don't see any possible scenario where the wolf is going back to imprisonment. I think that with the way the show is moving forward, I don't think we're going to be seeing the wolf for much longer. I think he will die no matter what, sometime within the next couple episodes of season 6, part 2. But, another possibility is that maybe he doesn't realize how big the problem is, and he goes, oh no, this isn't good. So he may, take shelter somewhere else with Denise, and, possibly going to the medical center. I could see that happening too. That, the wolf takes Denise back to the, medical center in Alexandria, and she continues to treat him there, and maybe he uses Scott, who would be in there, in a sense, as a hostage. Maybe he would put a knife to Scott's throat and say, okay, look, you're either going to treat me or I'm going to kill your friend here, which may then bring about, Denise maybe killing him, or again, Carol or Morgan might end up coming in and diffusing the situation. So he may not even leave Alexandria. He may have to stay in there as a result of the walkers invading, but then he would take shelter somewhere else, more likely than not inside of the infirmary. The other possibility that I thought about is that he may not take Denise with him. I could see him, just shoving Denise into some walkers, and maybe Denise dies. Maybe she, is able to get away and survive. I mean, I think either one is possible. But I think that, one thing that he may be doing is he realizes that he's more than likely not going to die. That wound that he has on his side from cutting his stomach looked very infected. And obviously it's not going to get treated now, more likely than not. So maybe in order to carry out the plan, his legacy, this is what we were doing, I'm going to do that to my very last breath, because we saw a lot of the wolves doing that without any regard to their own, safety almost. They were attacking people, and whether somebody else was coming at them with guns, it almost seemed like they didn't really care. Like it was too easy for them to be killed because they were so distracted by mutilating the Alexandria citizens that they didn't see Carol, coming up behind them with a gun or something. So really, they seem to be willing to follow this code to their death. And I would not be surprised if maybe there's no more wolves alive, but there is a distinct possibility that one of the food trucks is in the area with walkers. Because if you remember back in JSS, they were attempting to drive a food truck through the wall. And because of Spencer, he kills the driver and it hits the wall, but it doesn't, tear it down. And I think that, in my opinion, that truck may have just been carrying the wolves, that this is how they get around. They get in the truck all together and they go to some area, and then that's how they get in. But maybe the point of breaking the wall open was not only for the wolves to get in, but the walkers as well. Because you think about it, the wolves were mostly just climbing over the wall. The truck came after the invasion started. So maybe the point of that is to get the walkers inside. Now, whether it's just random walkers in general, to have them flood the area whenever everybody's dead, or whether they intentionally intend to use their, W walkers, the wolf walkers, is yet to be seen. And I think that there's a very good chance that the W walkers will come back. That maybe, there is a food truck nearby in the area that the wolf is going to get to, open up the trunk and let the W walkers out. There may be a couple of them, because if you remember back in Conquer, there were at least 2 or 3 truckloads full of walkers with the W on their foreheads. So it may be that the wolves parked those trucks somewhere near the vicinity, and the wolf is trying to get to them so that he can release the walkers, and then they would go into that area, and in a sense, more walkers may be converging on Alexandria. I could see that happening. I think that could possibly be something that happens. We kind of see that Rick's group is going to be fighting a lot of the walkers in, the next episode, and maybe those extra walkers coming is the moment when Alexandria unites as one. The Alexandria residents and Rick's group unite to take on these extra, walkers that are coming in, and then maybe they're able to, in a sense, win the battle. Because I would assume that all the walkers will be killed by the 9th episode, but there is a possibility they may carry it on into the next one. I'm not sure. A lot could happen, but I think that those are all different possibilities of what's going to happen now that the wolf is loose, and I'm very interested to see what will happen. So give me your thoughts. Do you think that the wolf has a plan? Is he just going to try to get to the infirmary? Is he just trying to get away? Let me know what you think. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming, and if you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.